So, episode 4, nearly done. Progression over delusion. Right, so this is like progressing yourself, your program properly, making sure you're not getting stuck in any pitfalls, any plateaus, any of that. Like if something's going stagnant, why is it going stagnant? Type of thing. So the first one would be like your strength. Lifts getting stuck. I kind of just briefly touched on this in the last episode. So strength. Oh, fuck. Stalling. So like your strength stalling, your recovery being slow, and your physique not responding. That would be like the three main things I'd be worried about if you're a robot. And then the last one, if your feelings matter and you're gay. Bored. Because really, like, I never really adjust clients' training programs. Once that's set up, that's it set up, and we'll run that for the phase. So if someone's off-season phase is going to be 12 months to 18 months, it's not going to change much in that 12 to 18 months. It really isn't. These people that change programs every 4 weeks and charlatans. Like, charlatans. I can't explain it other than that. Like, if you've just started making progress, say you start a plan, week 1, get used to the plan. Week 2, kind of up to speed. Week 3, start seeing progress. Week 4, seeing more progress. Why would you then change it week 5? If you've only been into the plan twice, you've done the same sessions 4 times, and that's when you've decided to adjust things and change things after 2 weeks of seeing progress. Never understand it. My hand gestures are bothering my computer. So I wouldn't adjust things, but again, if you're bored with the same sessions, that comes into this. So strength stalling. So briefly touched on this about like adding rest pause sets to progress a lift. Adjusting your sets is a good one. Sets say, I'll use it up here. So I need to zoom in. Oh, don't have to even move the angle. Green pen. Right, strength stalling. So like, let's say for squats you're doing a set of 3 to 6 and a set of 6 to 9. 6 to 9. Right, let's say both sets have stalled. You're stuck at, say, 140 for 6 and 120 for 9. And you can't get any stronger. Nothing's fucking changing. Nothing. You've been stuck at that lift, that weight, those reps for a month. Nothing's changing. Straight away, I'd still keep the 2 sets, but I'd go higher than lower. So instead of it being 3 to 6, I'd do like 2 to 4. Embrace the powerlifter in you. Start eating Haribos when you train. And then your higher rep set, I'd go like full plats and go 12 to 15. And then get strong in this range. And then run it back. So, let's say you're stuck at the, 140 for 6. Straight away, if you're squatting 140 for 6, your 4 rep max is going to be stronger than your 6 rep max. It's basic maths. Simple. So let's say you start this block of reps, this rep scheme, at 140 for 4, and then you get to 160 for 4, and then you get to 180 for 4, and that's when you stall. And then you go back to your 3 to 6. You're starting at 3 to 6 already stronger than when you start the 2 to 4, and the same thing goes to the 12 to 15. If you were doing 120 for 9, 12 you're going to be maybe doing like 100, and you build this up until you're back to 120 for 15, and you go back to it. It's as simple as that. Like 2 steps up, 1 step down, 2 steps up, 1 step down. Nice and simple. That's how I adjust strength stalling. The only other way is simply just moving where the movement is in your session. So going back to the second video where I was suggesting someone squat deeper into the session. So you do like calf. So say it was like a stand calf raise, seat calf raise, adductor, a glute movement, so like hip thrust, seat leg curl, and then squat. So if you're squatting sixth, where's my video? If you're squatting sixth, you're going to be quite fatigued by that. So then, yeah, no shit, you're going to be, your strength's going to be stalling. So if you just move that up, so you go like calves, adductor, then squat. You're doing fourth instead of sixth, and then you can just keep doing that, and flipping and flopping the movement. You're not touching sets. You're not touching your volume. You're not touching intensity and any intensifiers. You're literally just changing the order of things, and you will see your strength go poof, like that. So like back when I first started with my coach Randall, when I first started getting coached by him, I was doing all my training program myself, and I was deadlifting third or second into my sessions. So do like some form of like lat pull down to get my back going, and then I'd either deadlift or do a row and then a deadlift. It's usually a row and then a deadlift. I would be deadlifting or hinging, like third set in or third movement in, really early into my sessions. But then the rest of my sessions would suffer because I've just fried my CNS. And everything else is just fugazi. It's shit. The effort was shit. So as soon as the main thing he changed was he had me deadlift last. So do all my back stuff, everything. I do my lat pulls, my pullovers, like rows, single arm rows, all my lat work, all of that, and then deadlift last, and then I do biceps. And when I remember looking at the plan, fucking hell, it's going to suck. I'm going to be weak as piss. My strength didn't change. I think at the start, I first started deadlifting like 280 for 3 when I started one. And the first time I did the deadlifts, at the end I was doing 260 for 6, or 3 to 6, and then slowly built back up to the 280. And ever since, whenever I've deadlifted deep into sessions. I never deadlift within my first 4 movements. So with back, when I've been posting videos of me doing like block pulls and deadlifts, that's me deadlifting last movement of my back session. And the same goes when I've done it with hamstrings. So adjusting the order of things is a really, really simple way as well to do it. But it doesn't need, like when you stall, you don't need a whole overhaul of your system and program and your methods. It can be as simple as, drop a set, or add a set, or change the rep range, or change this, or change the order. It doesn't have to be as simple as, do this. It can even be more simpler of like, well, let's look at how you're warming up. Like, how are you approaching your warm-ups? Are you doing lots and lots of warm-ups? Or are you doing like sets of 10, sets of 8 to warm up to a squat? Because that's usually the most common issue when I talk to clients is when they're talking about the strength stalling and they're feeling fatigued and feeling fucked. I'm like, right, show me how you warm up. And I watch them warm up and I'm like, you're doing too much. Like if you're a 140 kilo for 6 squatter, you should not be doing more than 4 reps on 100 kilo to get warm, in my opinion. Like when I squatted 280, I was doing 3 sets of 10 with 60, and as soon as I done that, everything else was less than 6 reps. 100 would be 6, and go to 3 plates would be 140. That'd be 3 reps. 180 would be 2, and everything from there would be singles. I'd maybe do numerous sets of singles, like with 220, and maybe do 3 sets, but just 1 rep, just to grease it and just to get the movement going. But as soon as I was warm, I never seen the point of doing numerous sets. And it's the one thing I will tip my hat to powerlifters, and they were very smart with the way they warm up in movements. Right, strength stalling. Recovery slow. Adjust your split. So, still talking about Steve. Let's assume he was doing push, pull, off, legs, off. Let's say his recovery is slow and his diet's impeccable. Like, can he get better? It's all training issue. You'd adjust this. So instead of being push, pull, off, legs, off, which is 2 on, 1 off, one on, one off. Just do one on, one off, one on, one off. Simple. So you do like push, off, pull, off, legs, off, rinse, repeat. Simple. And it's the same split. You're just getting 2 extra rest days across said like training week. But with that, because I've done this, you go into every session fresh as fuck, which means you don't have an excuse to miss. It works really well. The other thing as well is like just like looking at what you're doing and how long you're doing taking to do your sessions. Like yeah, I've done those sessions where I've been in the gym for 3 hours, and people seem to think like it's better for recovery. It's also not, because if you think you've got 7 meals to eat and you're awake, let's say for 8 hours, and you're in the gym for 3, you've only got 15 hours to eat that many food, and that's as well as like going to work and doing all that other shit. Like I've done those leg days when I'm in the gym. I start training at 7, I get home at 10:30. It is daft. I like doing it, but it's daft, and it does impact your recovery. Having slightly shorter, more condensed sessions is, I believe, better for you. So like just doing that. Secondly, and one of the more important things is like being fitter can make a massive difference. You see this when people like diet, as they get quite fit, maybe 8 weeks into a diet, and then they start wanting to like add more sets and add more volume, doing these drop sets and stuff. I know this because I used to do this. I still do this. But because you're fitter, so you can do more, so you can handle more, so like you're able to recover better because you're just fitter. Your machine's better. Your meat machine's better. So sorted. Physique not responding. That is the tricky one, because you got to figure out why it's not responding. And that is when I would start to look at adjusting the volume across the sessions. So go back to my training volume episodes on how to manage that, because I'm more in depth there. But if all of a sudden like you're noticing there's then some discrepancies with your physique with just running push-pull legs, that's when I start to adjust it. So like let's say you're doing push-pull legs, your legs aren't responding, but everything else is. That's when I start adjusting frequencies. So you do legs, because you start with the week with that. You'd maybe do push because it's not an overly demanding session, going off from my second episode, which is 21 sets. You do off, then you do legs again, then you do pull, then you do off. Simple. That's how I would do it if it's legs. Like, you just adjust your pull session so that like you won't be doing the hamstring working here, you'll be doing the hamstring working at the secondary leg day. You'd maybe be doing the pull in that session as well. So then your back session becomes a little bit more condensed. Again, that then helps with recovery, which then helps with the physique responding. The tricky thing with all this is it's all the same shit. Like if someone's strength starts to stall, like seriously stall, if it's like a systemic, like my legs aren't getting stronger, you can often look at the progress of the legs and notice you're not getting bigger either. And the last but not least, bored. This is tricky because you got to figure out why you're bored. Because if you're bored at going to the gym and doing the same session over and over and over again, we can change your sessions. You can change your sessions over and over and over and over again. But until you've built like a solid base, a solid foundation of a physique and training and just overall strength, like if you're changing something all the time, how do you know you're getting stronger? If 1 week you back squat, next week you hack, next week you don't squat, week 4 you do like a safety bar, week 5 you squat but you do different sets. How do you know what's working and how do you know what isn't? And this is the tricky thing with being bored. Like I get that, I get how training can become very monotonous, but at a point you have to like just get over it. Like you brush your teeth. Everyone brushes their teeth every morning, every night before they go to bed. No one ever says, "Oh, I'm bored of brushing my teeth." Like dogs. It is right there we go. Dogs, for example. If you don't have a dog, you're a loser. or you never had a dog, you're a loser. If you don't like dogs, you're a loser. Don't watch my videos. But dogs eat the same food every single fucking day, and they'll wag their tail and fucking go bananas before they get fed. And that's how you should approach your training if you really want to progress. Is you should be buzzing to train, even if it's the same session you've done for 7 months. You should still be buzzing to train because you get to train, and not that many people get to train. So, like, if you do want to really progress your physique, if you want to have a banging, just wicked rig, diesel do your tits, except that it's probably going to be boring. And if you can't get over that, then this probably isn't for you. And I apologise if I'm the bringer of bad news, but I don't know what else to say. Anyway, hope that's helped. Hope that's helped you build your own training program. Done.